If you're paying full price for a cruise in 2026, you're actually doing it wrong. You're leaving money on the table. But I'm here to show you step by step how to stop overpaying no matter your experience level. And the last tip really is a big talking point that a lot of people, even experienced cruisers, seem to misunderstand. I'm gonna be breaking this down into beginner, intermediate, and expert strategies, because whether you've never been on a cruise before or this is your 50th cruise, you should not be paying the prices that they're showing on the website, and definitely you should be saving money. By the end of this video, you'll know how people save hundreds and sometimes even thousands of dollars on their cruises. There's a really big conception that cruising is just getting more and more expensive, and while that's pretty true with all of these extravagant ships that are being released, a lot of people just don't realize that two people on the same ship, on the same sailing, can pay wildly different prices. And I'm not just talking like different cabins. The reason is simple. Most people just book the cruise without research or knowing any better. I spent years cruising, booking cruises, and yeah, I'll be honest, making a fair share of expensive mistakes along the way. But that's why I care so much about helping you avoid them. If you're a beginner cruiser, this is the easiest way to save money, but people still skip it because there is a pretty big misconception, and that is using a travel agent. Here's the thing, they're free. You do not pay them. The cruise line actually pays them, so there is no downside. And if you get a good one, you're gonna get perks like onboard credit, group rates, which if you're traveling with a family, you can qualify as a group. Like, it saves you so much money. And you're also gonna just get perks that you don't even see online. So yes, please use a travel agent. However, make sure they actually know the cruise industry. If they don't cruise themselves, or they're pushing a bunch of extra upgrades, packages, and whatnot that doesn't really fit what you need, or they don't check when the prices drop, you're not actually gonna save as much. By the way, I'm gonna talk about those drink packages in just a bit, so stay tuned. But this little thing just helps so much because they will work with the cruise lines and the websites, making sure you're saving money. And yes, travel agents do actually check when prices drop on the website when there are sales going on, which we'll get to that in a little bit. Now, this is where most cruisers think they're being smart, but they still miss some pretty big opportunities, and that is with cruise sales. Honestly, it's mostly marketing. That limited time deal that you see all the time, everywhere, it's everywhere. It's always gonna come back. I actually had to turn off my notifications from Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. Love you guys, but their apps are constantly sending me push notifications about the sales that are going on. I mean, constant. And if you subscribe to pretty much any email list from a cruise line, you're always going to find some sort of sale going on. Here's the truth though, sale prices aren't always cheaper than the previous week. Sometimes it's just a new bundle of perks with a new name. They kind of repackage it for you. What actually matters is looking at a good price and making sure your booking can be repriced if that price drops. Cruise pricing is dynamic, especially on certain cruise lines. Royal Caribbean is known for this. Prices can change day to day, sometimes even hour to hour, depending on demand, how many cabins are left, and how close you are to the sail date. I mean, I talk about this all the time, but even excursions. I was on, I think it was Utopia of the Seas, and we were docked next to a smaller ship, an older ship, Royal Caribbean. It was same private island, Coco Cay. There's the same excursions to be had, same experiences, but the Utopia prices for those experiences was way more expensive. So just keep that in mind. If you're on a newer, bigger ship, sometimes you are just gonna pay more. If you want the best selection of cruises and strong bonuses, make sure to book early, especially during what we call wave season, which runs from January through March. That's when cruise lines roll out their biggest promotions to fill the ships for the year ahead. But if you're flexible, you can sometimes score incredible deals about 60 to 90 days before sailing. Just know that your cabin and itinerary options may be more limited. If a ship is filling up fast, prices are going to go up. If cabins are still empty a few months out, prices often drop. That's why last minute deals can be pretty good. You're helping the cruise line fill those final cabins that would have just been empty and they would have lost money on. One quick warning though, don't bundle every add-on just because it looks convenient. That's my second tip in this category. Drink packages, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, sometimes they make sense, but often you're really just paying for convenience, not value. Some cruise lines have a really good deal. I always am going to commend Princess Cruise Line for what they call their premier package, because it actually is a really good deal most of the time. They include everything in it, the dining, the Wi-Fi, like mostly drinks, etc., etc. And that is something I would consider to be worth it. Now, when we're talking about things like drink packages, I hate to say it, but sometimes you really do need to actually sit down and do the math. You need to consider how often are you going to use this? What is like the average price, etc., for the items that you're going to be using and shopping for. And then you can kind of figure out if any bundle is going to be worth it. The easiest thing to calculate is going to be dining, specialty dining. Do you need a dining package? That depends. How often do you want to go? Which restaurants are you looking at going to? You can easily look when you're managing your booking online and see what the prices of each restaurant are going to be. So it's actually very easy to take a look and calculate if you're going to be saving money on those experiences. Just keep in mind, sometimes with like sales and promotions, the price of the cruise doesn't drop so much, but they're actually going to be pushing more of those perks like onboard credit, Wi-Fi, drinks packages, just to make the deal look better. Here's the key though, sometimes it's just smarter to take the lower price with fewer perks than to chase every single bonus offer. This actually happened to me when I was sailing to Coco Cay. There was a casino offer and it actually looked pretty good because it was gonna give me a free pass to like the adult only beach. But after doing the math, it was actually way cheaper for me to just take a cheaper sailing and then just purchase the beach pass anyway. So it might look good, it might look like a really good add-on, but typically most of the time it's just not worth it. Another money saving strategy people kind of overlook are repositioning cruises. These are one-way cruises and they're often significantly cheaper, but people skip them because flights feel intimidating and it's just another thing you have to plan. Like cruises are supposed to be all-inclusive, right? But if you're willing to plan a little bit more, you can save a lot of money. Just be mindful of the flight prices. I mean, if you're going first class, maybe not so much savings going on, but it's something to take a look at the very least. Timing matters too for the actual sail date. So you have wave season, which is when you should book a cruise, but for the actual sailing time, you should look at shoulder season, which is weeks before or after peak travel times. For the Caribbean, that's like early December, late April or September. For Alaska, that's May or September, and for the Mediterranean, it can be early spring or late fall. I mean, it kind of depends, but think of it as the time that you wouldn't necessarily want to or think of sailing for that destination, and especially avoid holiday breaks. Demand is lower, so the prices drop. It's that simple. Also, there's going to be less crowds too during these off seasons. Now let's get into the level most people never want to talk about, or these are the things that like people whisper about, they don't really fully understand. And actually that's really true. A lot of people just have a misunderstanding about this, but it's so vital to saving money, and that is casino offers. Now, if you don't want to be in the casino at all, you should just skip this part entirely. I am not telling you what to do or advising you in any way whatsoever to go to the casino. This is just factual information, not my personal recommendation. But if you already frequent the casino responsibly, cruise casino perks can dramatically reduce your cruise cost. Cruise lines don't care so much about how much you win or lose. This is the part that trips people up. This is where the misconception lies, because people think, oh, I have to lose a certain amount of money. They care about how long you play and at what level, something that's called theoretical loss. That's why someone can lose very little money but still receive those casino comps and discount offers. You get points actually based off of the money you play through, not necessarily your net gain or net loss, if that makes sense. So you can play just $50, you're gonna get points whether you win that money back or not. No, you're not gonna be getting a free suite for $20, but yes, people absolutely get heavily discounted cruises this way. I get so many offers just for getting to like the base tier for most programs. They do like their own separate loyalty program. Royal Caribbean, MSC, Princess, Celebrity, those are the ones that I usually get a bunch of offers for. And I'm not talking like a couple, I'm talking several offers. Sometimes I get offers even though I don't even make their base like loyalty program status. Like just putting in some amount of money sometimes will actually get you offers regardless. Essentially, they give you a choice of sailings, dates, cruise ships, cabin types, and you're typically only paying port fees and taxes, which depending on the cruise, it's just a few $100s versus thousands of dollars for the actual full price of the cruise. Now, just keep in mind that slots are going to be calculated different than table games, so depending on how you play, you're also gonna get different amounts of points. Each cruise line does calculate points differently though, but this information is typically found on their respective websites, so you'll be able to search it up before your cruise. And this is exactly why you can have two people standing next to each other on the same ship, same sailing, but paying completely different prices. For me, I'm usually getting those casino comps. Again, it's not worth forcing though. I'm not telling you to go to the casino. Just be responsible and do what is best for you. Whether you're new to cruising or you cruise a few times or you're really just a seasoned cruiser, you really should be doing that first step of talking to a travel agent. Now you might be like, Abby, like I already know how to book a cruise. I'm already saving money. Like why should I do that? You can get the onboard credit. You can get discounted group rates. Like it's so much of an investment because you're gonna save time, you're gonna get those extra perks, and you're not paying for the travel agent. Remember, the cruise line is paying them. If you do need help booking a cruise, finding a reputable travel agent, I have someone that I use all the time. She's been on hundreds of cruises at this rate. I'm not even joking, it's not hyperbole. If you go to thelifeofacruiser.com, you can click on book a cruise and you'll be able to fill out that information. She'll contact you and help you book your next cruise. She's well versed on every single cruise line. Saves me hundreds and thousands of dollars, I promise. Saving money is great. It lets you go home without completely empty wallets, and you get to go on your dream vacation. If this helped you rethink how you book cruises, you're gonna want to subscribe to this channel and stick around. I talk about all things cruises. I break down the good, the bad, and the stuff that no one wants to talk about or fully explain. So if you love cruising, make sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for the next video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bon voyage!